Hello everybody and welcome. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the pressing forward player role in Football Manager, and let's get started with an overview of the role. The pressing forward is a striker role that can be used in single or double striker formations. This is first and foremost a striker, meaning they will naturally score goals. But they're a highly active role, chasing opponents down to force errors and win back possession. Performing almost like a ball-winning forward role, they are the best among strikers at making tackles. In Football Manager, different striker roles do different things. Some strikers focus on scoring, some focus on playmaking, and a pressing forward focuses on disrupting the opponent. This is our goalie on the ball about to kick it deep. We lose the initial ball, but the pressing forward will win it back. Here's the opponent on the ball attacking to their left. This is the pressing forward who's going to close down the ball carrier and force the turnover, which leads to our goal. In my other striker role videos, when I talk about what they do defensively, it usually comes down to, well, they'll at least be in the area. This is not the case with the pressing forward because they can turn into a midfielder when you're defending, which means you can have all 11 players behind the ball. This is the opponent on the ball attacking to their right, and my two strikers are both pressing forwards. They're sitting in their own half, but nothing too out of the ordinary right now. However, when the opponent takes the ball out wide, not only has the pressing forward closed him down on the wing, but the other pressing forward has dropped, even deeper than the midfielder. The opponent tries to continue their attack, and we eventually force the bad pass and turnover. This is what separates the pressing forward from other striker roles, their defensive focus. And in the next section, we'll talk about why you can't replicate the pressing forward in other striker roles just by using player instructions. One of the important aspects of the pressing forward has to do with their hard-coded player instructions, namely the fact that they close down more and that they tackle harder. But you can tell other striker roles to close down more and tackle harder, so what's the big deal? Well, it's always important to remember that a player role with hard-coded player instructions will behave differently than a player role given those same instructions. Meaning a striker role with close down more and tackle harder will not function the same as a pressing forward even if they have the exact same instructions. Let's look at an example to show this. Here's a generic 4-4-2. The two strikers are a pressing forward on attack, which has the hard-coded player instructions move into channels, close down more, and tackle harder. And the other striker is the advanced forward, which has a hard-coded player instruction of move into channels as well. But the advanced forward has also been given the player instructions close down more and tackle harder. This means we have two different striker roles that have the exact same player instructions. However, they will not play the same even though they have the same instructions, because a pressing forward will behave differently in the defensive phase that you can't replicate with player instructions. Right now we're defending and the opponent has a goal kick, attacking to their right. This is the advanced forward with those close down more and tackle harder player instructions on. And here's the normal pressing forward on attack. During the start of the goal kick, their positioning is exactly the same. The opponent wins the header and starts their possession, and the two strikers' positioning is already different. The advanced forward is up top, and the pressing forward has dropped into a midfield role. The opponent gets into their attacking midfield, and the pressing forward is just outside the penalty box. So as you saw in that replay, two player roles with the exact same player instructions will behave differently. Now let's go over something else unique about the pressing forward, and that's how they have the defend duty, the only striker role that has this. On defend, they're not a creative striker, and will drop deep to play simple passes like a target forward. Here we are with possession of the ball, and this is a pressing forward on defend. When he gets the ball, he's looking for the safe, low-risk pass. And when the ball goes out wide, he's not aggressive when attacking the box. He stays a little deeper to find the open space for the goal. This aggressiveness flips when defending, as he is relentless in closing down the opponent. He can win the ball all the way into the defensive midfield area. On support, they'll be more involved in the build-up, like a deep-lying forward. Here's the pressing forward on support. He's going to close down the player on the ball to clear it for a throw-in. In the attack phase, here's the pressing forward on support. He's going to create the scoring chance for his teammate. And finally on attack, they'll lead the line more like an advanced forward and will have more of a focus on scoring. And here we are with the ball, and the pressing forward is leading the line, playing much like the advanced forward. In the next section, we'll talk about using this role in a tactic. The pressing forward is versatile in the formations you can use, because it's good as either a solo striker or with a striker partner. But when making a tactic with a pressing forward, you want to think about how they're performing defensively and what kind of system that fits into. This is especially true if you like to play a direct counter-attacking style, because sometimes the pressing forward can get caught behind the ball and your team doesn't have an outlet. Here's the opponent with the ball, attacking just outside the penalty box on the wing. This is a pressing forward, and this is a pressing forward. When our striker wins the ball back, we don't have anybody at the top of the formation to clear the ball to. Now there are solutions to this. The first is to have them press high up the field and try to stop the opponent from getting started. You can pair this with other team instructions, like a higher trigger press setting and a higher defensive line. This is a common set of instructions to use with a pressing forward. But the tactic we're going to look at today is another way to use the role. And we're with Queen's Park in Scotland. The instructions focus on a slow, low-tempo possession system. When we win the ball, we focus on making smart, simple passes until we see an opening. The two strikers are pressing forwards, one on defend and one on attack. The trio of midfield roles all pair well with a pressing forward. The central midfielder plays like another striker in our attack. The box-to-box midfielder will support both our attacking and defensive phase, and the ball-winning midfielder will provide another pressing role while defending. The two wide center backs will also give us more attacking options from a deeper position. The lack of a playmaking role and using other roles like the box-to-box midfielder, ball-winning midfielder, and pressing forwards means we are focused on defending first. In Scotland, we are leading the league with the fewest goals allowed. So we don't need to create a ton of chances, and we usually only need to score a goal or two to win a match. Let's do a highlight breakdown to see how our defense turns into our attack. We start the clip with the opponent on the ball attacking to the left. We're going to focus on my player here, the central midfielder, and my player here, the ball-winning midfielder. They're going to work together to collapse the ball carrier, forcing the turnover. After we win the ball, we work possession to the wing and eventually get it to the pressing forward on defend. The central midfielder on attack is going to make a forward run into the open space. When he does, the other pressing forward will lead the line and get on the end of the pass. Earlier in the video, I alluded to some of the other striker roles that the pressing forward plays like. But the pressing forward's strength is not in their ability to recreate other striker roles, it's how they're a team-oriented role. So the pressing forward isn't as much a physical presence like the target forward, they're not as creative as a deep-lying forward, and they're not as good at leading the line like an advanced forward. But they're better at defending than all of those roles. So the attributes you want to look for are not necessarily creative ones, but ones like aggression, bravery, and teamwork. Which leads us to our player example for today, one of the best pressing forwards in FM24, Yussuf Poulsen at RB Leipzig. He has elite aggression, bravery, teamwork, and work rate. Also note how the pressing forward doesn't need any of those creative attributes, like passing, technique, flair, or vision. And while there are a number of good player traits for the pressing forward, like plays short simple passes or maybe plays 1-2s, probably the best player trait for this role would be dives into tackles. As we wrap up the video, a friendly reminder that I now have a Patreon account if you would like to support the channel, and on that page is a link to the Discord server where we're talking about Football Manager. Anyway, that is all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.